I don't know about you, but I felt like I was in a kind of prison during COVID and the Outlander, but we're back. And Jamie starts out in prison. I missed all the settings in Scotland, but this is one part I think everyone wishes they could just edit out of their memories. However, we see Jamie back in prison and dealing with prison politics. Politics, it's everywhere, and it's bad. The lairds and lords have a discussion, and because Jamie was a laird, he doesn't have to work. But he decides he's going to anyway. But Tom decides he's not going to work, and he's going to enjoy the little breaks. But while the men are working, the Scottish men decide to make a scene and start singing their own songs while they work. This was before Snow White. They didn't know they were only supposed to whistle while they work. And a fight breaks out, and they kill a young man who was already going blind. Jamie doesn't participate, but eventually stops the fight. And when it's clear the boy has passed away, an older gentleman takes out a little piece of tartan and puts it on the boy. Of course, having a tartan is illegal, but he doesn't care, he does it anyway. And someone has to be punished, and Jamie takes it, right on his back where he's already severely scarred. However, as he's going through his agony, who does he see but Claire coming toward him? And then these Catholics all become Freemason. So we get a little history lesson. And we jump back to Fraser's Ridge with the awesome song. And hey, Jamie's already survived prison, so let's start out with us thinking Claire's dead too. Just kidding. She's decided to develop ether so that her patients won't suffer during surgery, and she's testing it on herself. And Jamie, of course, freaks out because he's from the olden times. You can usually rouse somebody who's drunk. Her breathing was even shallow. Don't worry, even though these two are still grandparents, they're still getting it on and having hot scenes in the bedroom. Bree and Roger talk about being patriots in American history. Here's hoping her education in America can help them live through her history classes. I prefer a living history farm where there's not actual shooting. The scene in the prison comes full circle when Tom returns from Scotland along with his son and daughter. While they had agreed to be Freemasons, it is clear that Tom is still devout Catholic. After being an indentured servant, Tom has come to Fraser's Ridge to make a new life with his friend. His frenemy, let's be fair. Jamie is also being courted by the British governor to take on the role of Indian agent of the Crown. He's declined, but the major they sent to ask isn't taking no too easily. They even offer Jamie a deferment on his taxes, and that wasn't enough. Things go south quickly when Tom's son and Ian go hunting, and the neighbors pull guns on them because they say they were on the wrong side of the trees. Meanwhile, Tom has cut his hand and has to go to Claire for help. Claire's back to stitching, and he tells Jamie that at least it will be an honorable scar. Jamie doesn't like him, and the reason he brought up the honorable scar is because he saw Jamie's back when he got the lashes in prison. But Tom's son is less than holy, and it turns out he stole a powder horn from the enemies. Anyway, they demand punishment. It all seems like everything's going to be fine, but then they come back and say that Jamie needs to punish him, and that he needs to have lashes right there in front of him. So Jamie does it and then tells him to get off his land. He ain't having this. And while this all seems like a lot of drama, it's still less than the season 5 finale, so for that we're grateful.